Hello YouTube, how's it going? So Ubisoft, once incredible company. I'm one of the few people who still like the company, but mainly because I'm an Assassin's Creed nerd. I've played every major installment, same thing for Watch Dogs, but even I have to admit that the quality of their games have fallen off a cliff. They've tended to follow the Ubisoft formula, and the second you hear that, you know exactly what you're getting. Giant open map, same objectives over and over again, unlock more of the map as you go along in the story. And their games, which once had distinct identities like Watch Dogs, Assassin's Creed, Ghost Recon, Far Cry, follow the same formula and kind of have blended together instead of having their own unique identity. The only game that doesn't do that right now that I know of is Rainbow Six Siege. I don't play that game, but yeah. Oh yeah, another one is The Division, but The Division is hugely successful as opposed to a lot of the other games. Assassin's Creed, I guess you could name, is pretty successful still. But either way, Skull and Bones was also going to follow the same formula, basically taking the Assassin's Creed Black Flag formula and making it out into a whole game. It was announced back in 2018, but unfortunately the game has been delayed once again. So as we can read here in this article, delayed for the sixth time, Skull and Bones. So this was supposed to release in 2018. Now it's set to release in early 2023 or 2024. So either this year or next year. And the thing is, they have to release this game because they took government funding from Singapore, and because of this, they have to release the product. They are supposed to release multiple new IPs over the next few years, but of course that has not panned out, and the company has been diving deeper into free-to-play games. Remember, Hyperscape fell after 2 years. The Division Hardline is now in development. X Defiant is basically a Call of Duty knockoff. Let's just state it for what it is. It is. Ghost Recon Frontline's another free-to-play game. Roller Champions, I have never heard of that. But either way, they've been shifting to free-to-play games, and it hasn't been doing well. Now, Assassin's Creed is going to have a free-to-play game. This is Assassin's Creed Jade, which is actually looks incredible, but it's a mobile-only title, which I don't know why. This looks incredible. It definitely just looks like Assassin's Creed Odyssey or Valhalla in terms of how they're going to go along this game. But just release it on consoles. Come on. I don't know. As Assassin's Creed fan, this is really annoying. But yeah, so it doesn't also help that the fact that Ubisoft has been dealing with multiple harassment reports about their company. There was a huge report of the reason why in Assassin's Creed Syndicate, Evie was not as prevalent in the game as, say, Jacob. If you played that game, you had to play as Jacob for most of the game, and only a few missions were Evie specific, which was very annoying because I was one of a lot of people who wanted to play as Evie. But yeah, it was because apparently management thought that people didn't want a female assassin, despite the fact that people have been asking to play as a female assassin for years. And there was also that controversy about the Assassin's Creed Unity not having female assassins as well. But neither here or there. It was just a little weird of how they portrayed Evie. Either way, yeah, so the company also canceled 3 more games. So, however, the games from this investment phase have not been released, while our recent launches have not been performed as expected. This comes from Video Games Chronicle. So, the company said software sales over the key holiday season has been remarkably and surprisingly slower than expected, with Mario X Rabbids Sparks of Hope and Just Dance 2023 among the games to have failed to meet expectations. Skull and Bones, which following a series previous delays, was recently scheduled to be released this March. It was actually supposed to release in October, I believe, but definitely in the fall holiday season of last year before it was delayed again. It was supposed to originally release within a few days of God of War Ragnarok, which would have been incredibly stupid. But I feel like they just want to get this game out as soon as they can because, again, they took government funding. Will now arrive in Ubisoft's early next fiscal year, 2023-2024, which runs from April until March 2024. The company claimed the additional time has paid off and brought us impressive improvements to its quality, which has been confirmed by recent playtests, and expects players will be positively surprised by its evolution. Now, let's face it, the gameplay trailer for this game has not been great and has not been positively received. So maybe they're actually taking the criticism and trying to release a quality game because, again, this just looks like a toned-down version of Assassin's Creed Black Flag system. So maybe they saw people were very worried about the monetization system that could be in this game with all the cosmetics and resources because they've done this with every one of their major releases from Far Cry, Assassin's Creed, Watch Dogs, and Yeah, people are very worried about this. So maybe they're taking the criticism very seriously and the playtest to make sure that this releases in a good state, because their stock prices are plummeting. In fact, if we look at Ubisoft stocks, yeah, it's not looking good. Oh wow, that is a sharp decline. Ooh. So yeah, maybe they're taking the criticism very well and trying to release the best possible game, because Ubisoft really needs a hit right now. Like Far Cry didn't perform well, and let's face it, Mario X Rabbids released the same time as Call of Duty and A Plague Tale Requiem, which is like you're getting from both sides. Like even though A Plague Tale Requiem is on Game Pass, it's still an absolute banger of a game. It's an extraordinary sequel to Plague Tale Innocence. Yeah, it's a bit long, but nevertheless, and you're going against Call of Duty. And you can make the argument that people who play Call of Duty aren't going to buy Mario X Rabbids or Just Dance 2023, which is a plausible argument, but you're still competing with those games. So, it's not going to look great for you. So, yeah, they're also planning to release Assassin's Creed Mirage, which is the expansion that was rumored to be part of Assassin's Creed Valhalla, but they decided to now release it as a full-on game, which is supposed to go back to the roots of Assassin's Creed, the first game, and it's supposed to be rumored to be sold for $40. But either way, we'll see if that is successful or not, because it looks like it's going to be a very short experience, which I'm all for. A 2 to 3 hour experience that's quality is well worth it, in my opinion. Like Dishonored I beat in less than 2 hours and 30 minutes, and I thought it was an extraordinary game. I played it multiple times after that. Avatar Frontiers of Pandora, which was also delayed despite the massive success of Avatar 2, which I haven't seen it, so I don't know if it's good or not, but that game has been delayed, and yet to be announced premium game, including a large one, as well as promising free-to-play titles for our biggest brands, The Division Heartland, The Division Resurgence, Assassin's Creed Codename Jade. I don't know why they're releasing two Divisions. What? Like, just make Division 2, free-to-play to a certain level, or, offer a free-to-play version of The Division 2. Offer a premium version and a free-to-play version. Easy. Because that game is still very popular, so just offer two different versions. I mean, game companies do that all the time. There's a free-to-play version and there's a premium version. CEO Yves Guillemot say, "We are clearly disappointed by our recent performance. We are facing contrasted market dynamics as the industry continues to shift towards mega brands and everlasting live games." That's not true. Not true at all. Like, Elden Ring sold 13 million copies. Even though it didn't make as much money as Madden or FIFA, no game ever will, because those games are rife with pay-to-win microtransactions. And, sports gamers will spend thousands of dollars on these games just to gain an advantage. It's just the way things are. But single-player games are still very, very popular. Like, Ubisoft, again, they have this treasure trove of IPs they can make into, like, quality games and just go on in that path. But I don't know, like, Elden Ring, again, sold 13 million copies. I believe God of War Ragnarok sold 10. Correct me if I'm wrong, but it is the biggest PlayStation exclusive of all time. Cult of the Lamb, incredible indie game, sold very well. So, no, people don't want everlasting live service games. In fact, more people are less inclined to dedicate themselves to a live service game after they've dedicated themselves to one live service game. For example, when a person buys a Fortnite Battle Pass, they're only going to play Fortnite because they need to get the money out of that Battle Pass, because if they don't complete it, they don't get their money's worth. Like, you're paying for that DLC content, and it's only for a limited time. Same thing for Apex Legends, or, I don't know, I don't play any single-player live service games. I guess Genshin Impact, if that has a battle pass, let me know. I don't play that game. But yeah, it's very hard to push someone off into a new live service. It's like when you play an MMO. It's very hard to get someone to go from World of Warcraft to Final Fantasy when they've dedicated maybe 5 years to World of Warcraft. They're less inclined to hop over because they have to start over from scratch. In the context of worsening economic conditions affecting consumer spending, that's actually true. Inflation, the pandemic, that is 100% true. Despite excellent ratings and player reception as well as ambitious marketing plan, we are surprised that Mario X Rabbids Sparks of Hope underperformed in the final weeks of 2022 and early January. Just Dance 2023 underperformed as well. Well, Mario and Rabbids, again, released in the same month as Gotham Knights, Modern Warfare 2, and A Plague Tale Innocence. Like, if they released it in December, I felt like it would have done a lot better, because the only major game that released then was the Callisto Protocol, which was, panned reception-wise. I would say if they released it during that time and bounced off the Callisto Protocol, people would have been more inclined to buy that game instead. It would have been like, even though they're two radically different games, December is usually the month where there's nothing to play that's new, and most people are just playing catch-up for all the other games that came out. But if someone was looking for something new, that could have been the game, because it did get very positive reception. Everyone said that that game was extraordinary. I didn't play it because I suck at RTS games, and I don't want to play a game that I'm never going to beat because I suck at it. Like, I never beat XCOM 2 because I suck at it. Despite excellent ratings and player reception, I read that. Therefore, the approval of the board of directors, we are taking additional important strategic and operational decisions today. It's clear to continue adapting our organization to further strengthen our execution and ensure we both deliver games to players that are great value creation. Well, I mean, we expect our strategy to build long-lasting live games, to transform our biggest brands into global phenomenons with multiple offerings across platform and business models, to ultimately generate significant value creation with strong top line and operational income growth over the years. Oh my fucking god. No, don't do that. Look, your games already have an extreme dedicated fan base. They don't need that. Like, just go back to what made them great, and people will buy them. I feel like Ubisoft has gone down the path of they expanded way too quickly. They got extremely popular. They were once like EA. EA had a glowing reputation, but now EA makes lots of money and their reputation just doesn't matter anymore. But with Ubisoft, it's kind of the opposite. They grew so big and now they're kind of fumbling instead of seeing what made their games great. I guarantee you, if they go back to what made their games incredible, people will buy them. If you go back to what made Ghost Recon great, I never played Ghost Recon, but every person who talks about that game said, "Oh, Ghost Recon Advanced Warfare was the best ever," and it's still an extremely popular game. Remake that game. Just go back to the original and remake it with modern graphics. Look, Capcom did it and it was hugely successful. Remakes are hugely successful. Crash Bandicoot, Spyro the Dragon. Just do that. Remake the first Rainbow Six Siege with modern day graphics. I'm guaranteed people will buy that. Like, especially the Rainbow Six Siege fans who are really hateful of the extinction because it was a re-release of a free mode that was already offered to the community. Yeah, just re-release the campaign as like a expansion, $20. Here it is. You want it? And I guarantee you people will be like, "Oh my god, I want this." It's just you're trying to chase the money without realizing the process that goes down with it. Like I stated, no one is going to dedicate themselves to a brand new live service game once they've dedicated themselves to one of them. It's very, very, very hard to do that. You need to go back to what works, what people want. Listen to your gamers. Listen to the community. They are telling you what they want. They've been saying they want a new Splinter Cell. You're finally giving it to them. And even though it's a little worrisome of what they're going to do with the game based on reports, like they said they're adapting the game to modern taste, which is like very worrisome for longtime Splinter Cell fans like myself. Like, Chaos Theory was freaking, oh my god. It was like, I remember I played that at the Nintendo store. They had this huge event where they had like these cars that had, I forgot what cars they were, but they were SUVs where you could play like games that they were going to release, and they had Chaos Theory, and I was like, what is this game? I want it. And then I bought it the second my birthday came around. I was like, I want Chaos Theory. I played it, I fucking loved it, and I was like, okay, I need to get Pandora tomorrow in the first Splinter Cell, and it was brilliant games. Yeah, Chaos Theory was superior to them, but yeah, go back to what made these games great. They had an excellent indie game, Child of Light. People loved it. It was a great RPG game. Make another one of that. It's just like you have such a treasure trove of IPs that dedicated fans who love these games. Like, yes, Far Cry 3 was brilliant. It was an incredible game, but guess what? You've done that same thing for Far Cry 4, Far Cry 5, Far Cry 6, and yes, they're mediocre games. They're not stellar. Far Cry New Dawn, but maybe take it into a different direction. Maybe decide, hey, let's make it a single-player linear game where you go through a series of missions, like similar to Doom. Like, what they should have done is like what Rage 2 did. Do that, but single-player game with all the movements of Doom Eternal in Far Cry with drugs. There, winning formula right there. It's just like you have the opportunity to do this, just don't do the opposite. Don't chase these live service money. Like, yeah, it's alluring. I get it. It's very alluring looking at how cheap these games are made and how much money they make. But your fans don't want that. An Assassin's Creed fan like myself isn't going to buy into a live service game. I'll play Assassin's Creed Jade. I'm not paying a penny for it. I'm not going to put any money into it. I don't care. And same thing for your fan base, like a Far Cry fan. They're not going to pay. Chances are they're not going to put money into a free-to-play game. They're going to be like, okay, this is not what I wanted. Goodbye. And then you lose a fan, you lose a customer. It's not good. So I don't know. Like maybe invest into 1 or 2 free-to-play games and put more focus into what the gamers want. I don't know. That's my opinion on it. I'm really passionate about this. I really just don't want my IPs to go away. Ubisoft has been... People have been trying to buy Ubisoft in the past, and judging by the way they're going, it might lead to that. You never know. I mean, Microsoft has been buying up big IPs. I mean, Ubisoft, even Sony. Sony bought Bungie. Maybe they might be looking, Ubisoft is not looking so great right now. Maybe it's our chance to buy this company. I mean, it is a family-owned company, but, you know, if things go this way, it might happen like that. Either way, tell me what you think about this. Like the video if you like it. Dislike it if you dislike it. If you can go the extra mile. Thanks. Join button, Patreon, all that's linked below. Follow me on Twitch. And thank you for watching. I know your time is valuable, and it means a lot to me that you watched the video if you got to this point. If you didn't, still, thanks for giving it a chance. Either way, I love the fact that you gave me a chance to watch my videos. Goodbye.